This is my fucking place. Bricks stand me there. I mean him Fred, the girls them Ted. Start it. Me say me want some dirty money in my clean pocket money. It's all up can't hold in my wallet. Invest some money on it.
Okay, as requested. Fire up the Derek. Take a drag. Starts to hold it in, but I can't hold my breath for that long.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. I look for the invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible.
But McKenna had a very particular position on language, and something that he was conscious of was, first of all, he's by no means the to make this make sense, because to most normal people, which I believe most people here are, it's probably not that interesting. It's probably like, what are they all talking about? Like, what's going on? And so what's happened is, because Creative Scotland have a period of COVID where we had Johnson and Dominic Cummings and Matt Hancock and all of these absolute teapots, these Etonian teapots, just continually making a here, like, you know, and just being exposed.
It a fi mad me, 10 and 20. It a fi kill me, $100 bill now. It a fi mad me, $50 bill now.
Noisy Parker, yeah, good to have you, Noisy Parker. Definitely. Right then. When like Flynn. Good evening. Can I just get an audio check? As other people, let me just check here. Evening all, evening sky blue. Stuck on the 124, stuck on Princess Street. What a fucking day. Good evening, Matty. Evening, comrades. Macapella. Evening, folks. Morning from Alberta. Morning to you. Rocky vibrations. Oi, oi. How you doing? Oh, I need to check something. Just checking, because you don't get to see behind the scenes. It's probably a good thing. That's a good thing. Because you don't know what just happened there. Some mad thing. Some madness just happened. Right, let me just check here for a second. I'll be with you in a second, eh? Let's scroll through these screeds of... There, right. Oh, I don't even want to hear that. That's what I'm looking for. Right, where are we? Where are me people? Alberta, International, Intercontinental, Rona Whiffen, good evening to you. Sky Blue, right, cool, folks. Cool in the gang. Is this actually hot? Just. Basically, my kettle's broken. It's like, and I couldn't believe it. Bob G, trying to work out how to have a drink of beer with no one seeing you. The problems of modern life. I don't know what to say. I hope you figure out. I hope you figure out how to have a beer. See this? I like this. This is. I'm getting told. I'm getting told what to do, and I like that. Oh, is that right? See it there. Where would I be? Where would I be without you? I like this. I like the mild jibes. I'm easy, Jack. I've got the t-shirt. I've been there. I've been around. When I lost my phone earlier today, I found myself, where's my washboard? I think you can never watch too much What the X. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Anyway, it's a fun time, isn't it? The world's gone mad. But you can things are mental when your kettle doesn't work. That is a problem, I have to say. Right, what's going on the world of X? I did threaten to discuss the hot topic of the moment, which is the Pride Bridge, which is this bridge down at New Haven. It's basically just a pub beer garden. But I've maybe exhausted. Can we be bothered covering it? All the hype. It was in the Edinburgh Live, and then I went and looked at their. We can maybe have a look at that. I looked at their Facebook page. The Facebook for the. I call it a newspaper, but that's a stretch. The advertorial Edinburgh Live or something, and it's just like everybody's like, this is a load of shite. We didn't want it. We don't want this project, and yet they're in the face of that they're determined to go ahead with it. It's such an inclusive community project that pretty much everyone in Edinburgh is like, why are you doing this? This is... I like this. Professional streamer would have had the Ko-fi link ready to go with the broken kettle story. Maybe I'll make an Amazon wish list. An Amazon wish list of things. The first thing I need is a kettle. I'm not joking. I had to heat up the water in the microwave, and I come and checked that video, and it was Alan Hostage's video, which incidentally, the track, I think it's called Heaven. He's going to release it this week. It's another masterful piece of madness from Alan Hostage's mind. Listen to this guy going, have you been missing the gym gadge? You were fair out of puff in that video this morning. These are the people that want to comment on my complexion and my, like, you know, I mean, what? I'm talking to a guy. He's got a Jerry Sadowitz avatar. I don't even ken who he is. I don't ken what he looks like. And yet, this is what I get subjected to. Professional streamer. Or I should just let you get on with it, eh? Say it was the... I still need to get these comments amalgamated. Say it was the Pride kettle. Get the council to buy you a new one. I tell you what, you're on to something there. Look, at least we can have a laugh, right? It's more than what a lot of folk can do. Right, where are we? Right, so first let's cover the base. Let's cover the important facts. Right, the first thing is the sausages. Right, I can't be bothered with the sausages chat. I'm not saying I get it. It was funny in that, but what annoyed me about the sausages chat was all of a sudden people who have said nada about the genocide, they were all over it, like okay, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, that's as close as they got to talking about the most horrific event in modern times, like, you know. And should I stop saying, like, you know, as well? Some people get. There's a term. What is that term? There's a word for those kind of vocal stammers. I'm full of them. I don't really care, to be honest. But somebody's like, oh, yeah. Somebody left a message on YouTube saying, you say like you know. I can say what I want, to be honest. I'm not really that bothered. Anyway, but aye, the sausages thing, that was one thing. The other thing that seems to be quite mental. Oh, I quite like them. The other thing that seems to be quite mental is the Anis Sarwar. Did anybody see Anis Sarwar? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Anis Sarwar had been dancing. I think the James Connolly Society was having a... If you like this mix, by the way, because it is good, I can give you a link to that as well, because a friend of mine made it. This was everyone having a wee pop at Anis Sarwar. The Labour Party have rap. You know, for those of us that were onto it, we kind of like we're not remotely surprised, but there is a sort of kind of a bit of confusion in the midst of people that kind of, I think they genuinely thought that this Labour Party was going to be like doing nice things or something instead of just being a bunch of avaricious, rapacious, horrific political class horrors. I could have sworn there, but I elected not to. So that means I might have to get a swear jar. But I think I'm trying, right? I'm trying. But did people see? Did people see Anis Sarwar's dancing? Is that something that everybody's seen? There was like TikToks and stuff that went up. Actually, we will do the pub thing, because I remember there's an article there that I want to look at about it, which I didn't actually read, but we will read it. But yeah, shall we have a look at, shall we take a wee moment and just look at that, because everybody seemed to be talking about that. So let's just have a wee look at Anis Sarwar for a second.
It's just one night in New York City. One night in New York City. One night in New York City. And then he fucked her all night. Fucked her all night. Fucked her all night. Fucked her all night. It's just one night in New York City. It's just one night.
Crazy what the kids are into these days, eh? But that seemed to make everybody a bit kind of, they were getting a bit wound up about it, but they seemed to be having a good time anyway. That's nice, because they've been cutting pensioners' fuel allowance and stuff. So I'm glad that they had a. You certainly would. So, where are we? How wanks like Jonathan Pie can get away with the "I thought they'd be good" patter is at best dishonest. I couldn't agree more. I actually had a run-in with Jonathan Pie. I can't remember the name of the guy. Who is actually Jonathan Pie? I can't just, whatever the guy's name is. In 2017, and I had a bit of a spat online, and he blocked me years ago. But I lost that account. But it was when the festival was on. And they were wankers. Him and that guy that writes for the GB News guy. And I seen them in town and that. And I can't even remember. It's years ago. What happened? Well, as Sandy Denny said, who knows where the time goes? Right, let's get on to the pride, the no pride bridge. There's no pride in this bridge. So the pub that is basically benefiting from this elaborate infrastructure project. So basically, as far as I can gather, what happened is this, right? The tramworks mashed up an old bridge that was kind of, nobody really used it anyway. It connects like Lindsay Road to 4th Street or North 4th Street. And so the bridge was like deemed dangerous and it needed to be like taken down. But during COVID, this pub, the Dreadnought, they started using it as like their beer garden, right? Well, fair enough, right? Cool. They used it as their beer garden and everybody was hanging out. Then they painted it rainbow colours. And it became the Pride Bridge because it was like an LGBT symbol. A symbol of LGBT inclusion. And then what happened was they didn't want it to be taken down. They didn't want the bridge to be taken down. So because the folk that drink there or whatever and the folk that work there are connected. Basically, like the woman that runs it or something is like something to do with her is like some aristocrat guy or something is associated. Anyway, everybody knows the score, right? Yeah, but basically they managed to get this whole, like, let's say the bridge had to be replaced, right? Okay, replace the bridge. But they've managed to get this whole kind of thing created where there's all this money being found suddenly so that they can have this kind of steps and, like, they're calling it an amphitheatre and all this sort of stuff. But the problem is, what it really is, it's just basically, it's like neoliberalism 101. It's just basically taking public space and turning it over to private interest, basically. And I think the thing is that if you look at the sort of response to it, basically, like the online response, it's quite funny. I think it's like quite a landmark case where you've got kind of nepotistic cronyism with the political class. Scott Arthur's majorly involved. Surprise, surprise. But he pulled some strings and managed to get like £250,000 for Sustrans or whatever. And this money is going to basically, well, it's going to go into the pockets of architects and designers and these type of people. But the point is that it's a totally unnecessary project, and it's really just to service the interests of a small bunch of people. And at a time where there's so many social care cuts and there's so many other problems with the city, it's just a really insulting project. It's like the city is already being decimated by private interests, by private capital. The situation with student flats, there's a thing that's occurring a lot at the minute where developers are putting in housing proposals, like it's happened at Dundas Street, for example, where the old Royal Bank building was. And once they get that planning approval approved and everything, they flip it and change it into student flats. So it's totally and utterly, like, it's not cool, right? It's a totally uncool vibe. But there are so many problems with the city, there are so many issues with what's going on with the town, and there's such a lack of consideration and concern for those citizens and people that have lived here for a long time. You sometimes refer to them as legacy citizens, but people who have, you know, and there's also, like, large sections of the city now are essentially just economically prohibited from interfacing with the city in the way that they traditionally would. And this is sad, but it's also ethically questionable because we didn't vote for this. This is private capital interests have created these circumstances and conditions. And so this infrastructure project, that this is being heralded as a beacon of inclusion, is actually a very exclusionary statement. And if you look at the sort of general consensus, the general feeling towards it is hostile. People aren't into it and they find it insulting. But hey, what do you all think? This is the general vibe that I'm getting. But there's another element to it which I'm going to just look at just now, which is that okay, so this account, I like this account because it changes its name on a daily basis, and I like that kind of thing. Today it's called "Your Dad Bought Shares in Leisureland." I actually think that wouldn't have been a particularly bad investment, to be honest. Leisureland is one of those strange. Leisureland is sort of the sort of money laundering precursor to Turkish barbers. Don't you think? I think that, like, Leisureland, you were always like, you were always going like, how there's never nobody's in these places, and it didn't seem like much leisure happened on that land. More a speculated concept of organised crime. I think that's what probably happened in Leisureland. But if your dad did buy shares in Leisureland, maybe he's an affluent man now, who knows? Anyway, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, but this your dad bought shares in Leisureland has contributed with an article, and this is why I kind of find this whole. Other people have pointed out that the bridge is being called the Rainbow Bridge, and this is also a metaphorical term or a euphemistic term for where you go to die. You cross the Rainbow Bridge, or your pets cross the Rainbow Bridge. So, who's in a real hurry to cross the Rainbow Bridge in the first place? This is already, there's some sinister implications come with the Rainbow Bridge. Right. I live next to that bridge, haven't been consulted, nor have any local residents or businesses. It's another attempt to go viral. They could try making their pub less shite. That seems to have got away with them for a bit. Okay, when a snobby Edinburgh pub banned jobby catchers in a dress code crackdown. Well, basically, I've never heard tracky bottoms being described as jobby catchers. But these snobby bastards that run this pub in Leith are clearly the apex of gentrifying, snide, smug mofos, because they've managed to make the paper with their canny man style exclusionary policy, their dress code policy, dress code crackdown, dress code tonight on dress code crackdown. Right, let me just Tramworks didn't impact the tenant block above the prom. Yeah, they did. Aye, they did. I think I know somebody that lives in one of those tenements actually. And they're not very happy. They've got big cracks in their living room and stuff now. Right. Bosses at the Dreadnought Bar in Leith described grey tracksuits as jobby catchers as they announced a ban on a set of horrendous fashion habits back in June 2019. I'm already formulating an opinion about these people. Are you? Oh look, they've put a sign in the door, basically like, there you go. Well, I've got loads of mates that dress like that every day, and they're some of the soundest folk that I've ever met in my life, so that's intriguing dress code policy that they've got going on there. The Dreadnought Bar left punters in no doubts about its class prejudice. There are a variety of philosophies when it comes to appropriate dress for the pub. Some of us dress to impress when we head out for a few cold ones, while for others, comfort is the name of the game. Who wrote this article? Their pal, probably. One Edinburgh boozer, though, sparked fierce debate back in June when it decided to crack down on tacky sartorial choices, dragging down its smart reputation. Remember, these are the same people that have managed to score over £250,000 out of the transport budget so they can have a beer garden. They sound like really nice people, don't they? These sound like really nice people. Oh, they're such nice people. So inclusive. I like these articles, like, you know, like what was I reading about? Pancreatic cancer. Bosses at the Dreadnought Bar in Leith described grey tracksuits as jobby catchers as they announced a ban on a set of horrendous fashion habits. It fucking gets a bit... The next paragraph's quite... Hold on a minute. I need to pinch myself. The upmarket venue. What? You've got a pub in Leith here. You've got a pub in New Haven here. Camden also forbade gents from wearing socks with no shoes. And in case punters were in any doubt, a large sign was erected outside the front door depicting the outlawed states of dress. Who the fuck wants to go to this place? They sound like wankers. They sound like total wankers. We were accused of snobbishness last time, but frankly, they just make the place look scruffy, the pub said at the time. We do our best to keep the place looking reasonably smart, and if the first you see when you walk in is a group of lads, right, wearing matching grey marl jobby catchers, we may as well have installed a beaten up bus shelter in the corner and invited folk to take a slash against it. Desperate attempts at free marketing. We think, look, they've got plenty of they've got plenty of marketing. On the I Love Leith page, there's people that own other pubs commenting and going like, why is this pub getting all this marketing? Why are they, like, because the other article is just bigging them up as well. It's who you know. In this town, it's definitely who you know. If you're going to base your fashion choices on what the staff at Urban... I can't be bothered reading any more of this. These people are just twats. But anyway, some accused the bar of snobbery. Oh, fucking like what? Gary Sadler said, their pub, their rules. Gary Sadler, a friend of the people. Right, anyway. So, they're basically... Okay, so then there was some other things that are quite interesting about it. What's going on? JCS taking out Douglas Alexander there. The narcissist. What museum? Edinburgh Museum to shut for at least... Look, I'm just reading the news for you, right? We're all just reading it together. Somebody did once refer to what the siX or what the X is a support group. That's my excuse. That's my excuse anyway. Donald Turville. I like Donald Turville, by the way. See all these papers like the Evening News and the local, like there's so many, a lot of the journalists and that are muppets, but Donald Turville's alright. He's a Haddington lad. He might not like me letting you know that, but that's as good as. He's as good as an Edinburgh boy. Like. There's loads of good folk for Haddington. I like Haddington. Haddington's a nice wee place. Haddington's got a good vibe. Let's hear it for Haddington. Which museum is it? Which museum is he talking about? Which museum? The People's Story on the Royal Mail. And what's the other one? A Queensferry Museum. I can't get my head around it. It's all a bit too... Right, let's go to... Where's the Laird? Because the Laird was laying into the Pride Bridge. and he had identified some intriguing qualities. Okay, the laird is that what it's going to be? Is that how it's going to be down Granton and that whole, is that how much building they're building down there? Wow. The Hidden Tune, is that is that what it's called, Leslie? Just a stone's throw for me, the Hidden Tune. Is that just you saying that, or is that its term? Is it like Musselburgh? Which is the the least appropriate. Do you know that the town, the name of Musselburgh is the Honest Tune? I've never met so many dishonest folk in my life. It's folk from Musselburgh. Gah, come on, that's not true. It is a bit. Right, the laird was... I have to go back. I have to scan back. It's in a dip. It's in a dip. Aye, right enough. Right enough. Let's just mind the laird's. Yes, I got that, Leslie. Yeah, I didn't know if you meant it as economic circumstances, but I get you. Right. So these are the designs for the. So this was the whole thing, like plans submitted for the redevelopment of Pride Bridge. They're already branding it, you know. This is what they do. It's so insidious. I was making a point about it today that, you know, they're rebranding the whole town and it's totally wrong. And these are all the same people. They're all the same. The folk that are right behind it, right, are all the same sort of folk that like sort of pride themselves on their sort of woke credentials and being conscientious to like indigenous religions and like natural environments and the rest of it. They love to think of themselves as being conscientious and sensitive, but when it comes to gentrification, they're completely oblivious to it. They're completely blind. And there's an entire rebranding of the city that Paul Lawrence and his nefarious crew of, you know, developers are massively involved in. The one that I was making a point about today is that Piccadilly Place is now Leith Walk, right? So Leith Walk starts at the top of Broughton Street. Leith Walk is now from St Mary's Cathedral, bottom of Leith Street becomes Leith Walk. And this is outrageous. This is an outrageous affront. Like, you know, if you go on Google Maps and that's where Leith Walk is, the whole roundabout area and that. And this is deliberate. This is so that they can market Leith Walk. This is so that they can tie the St James Quarter that they've got all their commercial interests in to the branding of Leith Walk, you know, because Leith, like, they're flogging Leith, you know, to places abroad and everything. You know, that's how the gentrification process works, you know. So plans submitted for redevelopment of Pride Bridge, Lindsay Road Bridge. It was never the Pride Bridge, right? This is just this pub call it that, right? The Pride Bridge. Fuck off. Anyway, the laird says, notable that the Pride campaigners approved design pictures featuring heterosexual couples only. It's true. Look, this is... Okay. Now, another interesting thing to note is that the money has been found. Scott Arthur found the money from Sustrans. And Sustrans is supposed to be promoting all the time active travel and cycling and stuff. But there's no cycle lane. So they found this money to create this extended beer garden and a bridge. And some sort of, they're calling it an amphitheatre, where no doubt they can have, I don't know, like, you know, like drag shows or something in the summer or whatever, like, you know. Some woke entertainment. It's like peak identity politics, you know. How coincidental that this design includes a greatly expanded area for people to sit and perhaps purchase drinks from the local pub behind this heartfelt LGBT memorial. It's totally correct. Like, you know, it's like, it's all of a sudden, it's gone from being a... Look, the point is this, right? It's not a bridge, it's a beer garden. And everybody kens it. And we've got to put up with this insulting pantomime where they insist that it's a very important symbolic project to celebrate LGBT inclusion or something. Hello, Doreen. Is this you waving to just for us just to see you, or are you leaving us? Either way, here's a horn back at you, hen. Where was the rest of it? The Laird continues. The only black person here afforded the prestigious role of being the no doubt highly paid carer for the white woman in the wheelchair who can't get down the stairs. Apparently the access isn't right as well. Interesting that if you look closer, the entire bridge is blocked off with rocks and bollards, so no one can cycle through the Dreadnought's precious beer garden. It's a total stitch-up, right? It's just neoliberalism 101. Even handier is the purpose-built crossing that handily goes from the pub's front door to where its captive beer garden will be. Right, it's completely been designed in the interests of these people. Beldam Lascar chimes in. That's great. Whoever owns the pub with that beer garden will be delighted to find that this has landed on their doorstep. Probably couldn't have imagined a better outcome if they'd been involved with the decision. Well, at least it's giving us a laugh, right? At least we're getting a laugh out of it. Basically, what do we think? Can we have a poll? Are we for or against? Are we for or against the Pride Bridge? Should we get behind the Pride Bridge? Yeah. Should we make it something that we all just go like, you know what? Never mind the fact that they're slashing care budgets all over the city, that kids can't get to hold on a minute, that kids can't get to like, I know people who were like carers and they've lost their jobs. They were looking after people with special needs, and their hours have been slashed and everything. And the council of I'm on the French. That's good. I like that. But I think it's more, the thing that gets my goat about it is their kind of indignant insistence that it's massively supported and that everybody's behind it. It's like, nah, it's not. It's not massively supported, and everybody is almost certainly not behind it. Let me see if I can find it was here. There's like 235 comments. Let me drag this. Can I drag this over here? I think I can. Let's go here. We can see this is the comments on Edinburgh Live's post. Like, how much to give the Dreadnought a free pub beer garden, a free beer garden? Crafty work there. Really? In times when people are homeless and going to food banks. Surely this money spent could have gone to help the needy. Just my opinion. I don't think it is just your opinion, Karen Wilson. Thought the rainbow bridges were absolute joke. Money to spend on a rainbow bridge when there's far more urgent matters requiring the finance and attention of a Rosa's a few fans in amongst there. Anyway, basically there's like hundreds of comments there, and the vast majority of them are basically like, this is nonsense, and we're not into it. So I think that's the thing. It's just that sense of being like, yes, this is Kit Kats is hit on the issue here though. Let's just get to the nub of things. That's the bridge over the rainbow. Bridge over the River Woke. Would it be considered a hate crime to be against the gay bridge? And the simple answer to that is absolutely yes. And that is what they're bargaining on. You see, this is a yes, you transphobic monster. And this is really what this is, because it's peak identity politics. It's wrapped in the critic-proof fence of wokeism and ID poll, basically. And the clear inference is that if you are opposed to the Rainbow Bridge, you are a bigot and a homophobe. So this is essentially where we're at. And that's, yes, I like this, the transphobic monster. So that's basically the vibe, right? That if you criticise the Rainbow Bridge, you're a bigot, a nasty, horrible, homophobic person. And so that's it, right? I think we've pretty much covered it. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. Nearly a slip of the tongue there. Now the next thing is, if we're looking at the Labour Party are descending into public hostility, aren't they? People are really, what was it? Yeah, Richard Flett made that point about Jonathan Pye and the like. But it's now been revealed that Keir Starmer received 20 grand towards the accommodation for his son at university. Do we know which university he's at? Is it Edinburgh by any chance? Here's an interesting headline that we'll come to in a second. Look at Tim Farron rushing to this is the political class in a nutshell. Look at Tim Farron rushing to his defence. This is getting silly now. Leave his kids out of it and stop blowing things out of proportion. There is bad behaviour amongst some politicians, but this constant pearl clutching at everything undermines trust to an unjustified and dangerous extent. Try reporting some news. This guy's defending the fact that Starmer took 20 grand for his son to go and stay in. This is what I'm talking about, man, right? Sorry, I've been stopped in my tracks by the latest comment. I don't know how it's off topic, like. Get it off topic. But did they not find a heed in a bag under that bridge? Well, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about the Rainbow Bridge and the decapitation. Let's Tim Farron rushing to defend Starmer. Can we have maybe like a rule I don't like rules. I'm not a fan of rules. I'm not a fan of any rules ever. But sometimes you just feel like you maybe need a wee rule. Are we all, anybody that's like a regular on What the X, right? We all accept, right, that the political class are all the same. We've already, it's like in the salons of the 19th century or the 18th century, where like Hume and all these folk met. Like, you know, let's get ourselves into the enlightened sort of thinkers, even though we're into psychedelics and we're not militant atheists. At least I hope we're not. But can we all accept, like, it's like in the salons in those days, they'd all become heretics. Like, you know, they'd all basically accepted that none of them believed in God. They'd all assimilated to Hume's position on religion, and it was a bold move. You know, they were breaking away from being hung. Being hung for blasphemy and that, you know. Thomas Aikenhead was the last guy hung for blasphemy in Scotland, and he had been basically, he had said he'd been overheard in the pub. He got pissed, and they overheard him saying that he claimed that it was all fairy tales, that the scriptures and everything were just made up and it was just fairy tales and that. And then he got dragged in front of the kirk and everything, and they were like, right, basically, and they said, right, well, we'll give you, have you anything to say? Do you want to renounce this position or something? And they said, right. He said, yeah, all right, I take it back. I do believe in God and that. And then they were like, right, well, we're still going to hang you. And then he went, nah, it's a load of shite though. Basically, I think that's what the vibe was. He basically was like, nah, it's a load of nonsense. But he was the last guy hung for blasphemy. But I was basically saying, we're all of the disposition that the political class are all the same, right? That would be my only, if there was any sort of entry sort of position, it's basically like everybody that's part of the vibe is like, that's the starting position, right? We're not buying into this like, oh, look, those ones have got a yellow badge. That means they're different. It's like, nah. Nah. They bring their kids into it. They use them as an excuse for accepting Taylor Swift tickets, etc. Absolutely, my Capella. Nail on head. They really are a reprehensible bunch, you know? They truly are. We're post-politics. I think it really happened in '97, and I think it's taken the last 25 odd years for folk to really start to clock like this is what's going on. And these old kind of archetypes and stuff, they don't cut it anymore. Hope it was a reusable bag. No, you're wrong, Bob. Wedge Streeting confirmed bribery was a noble pursuit. What a sociopath he is, eh? I'm taking my son to drama class now. Still listening. A bit catch you cats on Friday. Cheers, Bob. Cheers, Bob. Take it easy. Drama is a great pursuit for any person, young people, whatever. The arts are always worth pursuing. IMHO. So that's good. You are excused. I like this sort of quasi tutor vibes that we cultivate here. Anyway, Tim Farron defended it, but then here's an interesting article that we've stumbled upon on What the siX. Let's have our sixth sting. Is that the wrong one? Over my purse. Breaking. Dozens of people. It just gets better, doesn't it? Dozens of people released from jail under the government's emergency prison scheme were freed by mistake. It's just like, we're on to a winner now, like, you know. Society is getting better by the minute. Well, that's quite an achievement. This radio, do you know, is a horrible account. It's a horrible kind of attention-seeking account. What's Ewan Morrison saying? Not 1984, not Brave New World, but Children of Men. The dystopian societies we are slowly becoming are a fusion of authoritarian rule with chaos and dysfunction. The more society falls apart, the less of a plan there is to fix it. The more governments suspend all freedoms. Yeah, and I tell you, for anyone who's not read Capitalist Realism, then I would suggest you purchase Capitalist Realism. It's maybe costs like £8, £9. And I've probably given it away. I've probably bought it and given it away 10 times over the years, easily. I gave away my first copy, I've bought it so many times and I've given it away to people. And Fisher starts his critique on contemporary capitalism with Children of Men because he was such a brilliant social critic, but he plucks out a few things from Children of Men, and he one second. Yeah, he's always referencing films and things from popular culture, and that Alfonso Cuarón film is one of the things that he sort of starts his critique out with. It's a short book, you know, it's maybe like 100 pages or something, but it's a seminal book. It's a really important book. I advise everybody should read Capitalist Realism. A friend of mine was just messaging me the other night there because she was confessing to having been confused when I've always been going on about Mark Fisher. She had been going like nodding along with me and that, but then she'd actually realised that she'd confused him with somebody altogether different who is also called Mark Fisher, and she's now realising that actually this is a different person. Really not that particularly interesting anecdote there. So this was back to the Pride Bridge. I tell you, this was me moaning about it but this was the article that appeared in Edinburgh Live yesterday. What's the name of that author? Wrote a book on culture and philosophy recently. Scottish guy. That's Bram Gaben. That's my gaff. You know, I feel bad because I'll give my final review on that. It's a brilliant book. It's called The Darkest Timeline, and it's Bram. And again, you know, Bram. I really liked the book because it's kind of it's in the style of the Fisher's work and the size of it. You know, it's a manageable amount, and it's kind of like a series of essays. It's a great book, a really good book. I would recommend buying that, definitely. Bram's a great guy and a brilliant writer. He's a brilliant writer. Bram Gieben, that's right, yeah. Right, we're getting to the let me get back to the right, first look at new Edinburgh Pride Bridge revamp. It's not a revamp, man. It's like the bridge was including amphitheatre venue. What it's all this added stuff, man. It's like, you know, it's just a load of bollocks, right? I can't be bothered with it. Nobody can. You just have to read the comments. Read the comments on Facebook and the article on Facebook, and you'll just see. You'll get the vibe. What's people saying? I like how people are acting in the council as if that's going to be. Are you people insane? Yes. Yes, they are. They almost certainly are. Richard Flett says, just finished it yesterday. Really good. Brilliant. There we go. More plugs for Bram's work. Excellent work. And it's a great title as well, because I think it's clear that we are in the darkest timeline. Right. I had it in my mind. There was a couple of things. I must admit, the kettle thing. Plan gets green light. What's this? Oh, I don't know if I can handle more. What's this? Spyler. Transform a coach house into a local another community hub. Right, so this is another example of a charity. This is more examples of public space being converted into private interest. It happened with that place down in Leith Links, the Croft or whatever it's called, where a conservatory got shoved on and it cost £1 million, right? £1 million is what it cost, so that some folk can have a wee private club, and they now charge people to do events and stuff there, which is what we said they were going to be doing. And they were like, they got so outraged and indignant when we were criticising it. It's just such a scam, man. We're just living in a scam town. Got to go. Well, good to see you here anyway. Don't worry, we're just winding up anyway. I'm just winding up anyway. Right. I will, but I see. This is the thing. I need to be careful when I need to be careful on this on X, because it really is unfiltered, and sometimes the images that come up could compromise my stream. John Keir Starmer, by taking the tough decisions now, we will deliver a Britain returned to the service of working people. It's really quite perverse, isn't it, the way that they talk? They don't care about working people. They don't care about anyone but themselves. What's John White saying? John White says he's been filling his boots, and yet expect you to lose yours. The bastard is an enemy of vulnerable pensioners and a friend to the funeral industry. He and Reeves have literally declared war on the old, the poor and the infirm. Establishment wanker. You can't disagree with John White with a single word of that. Bob's considering a kettle-less future. You will own nothing, not even a kettle. And apparently that'll make you happy. Well, listen, it's what the siX. It's Wednesday the 25th of September. Now, here's a thing. I noticed that somebody was having a pop at me about this. Where is it? I'll need to see if I can find it. I'm going to do it again. Now, we have got some plans that will be the new plans will be unfolded henceforth. Here is my coffee link. If you feel inclined to purchase a coffee for the grand efforts, for my grand contributions. If you're not on the Patreon, please consider joining. Once again, I haven't got round to sorting the Patreon out, but I shall. And we have plans for that too. And I'll be back here on Friday morning at 10 o'clock for What the X on Friday. And all I can say is thank you very much to everyone who has joined this evening. We've had pretty decent numbers, to be honest, by the looks of things, between the two platforms. I've got a cunning plan, speak to you in a bit. I'm going to leave us with my friend Seams, Dylan Mitchell, his latest project. It was played on Vic Galloway the other night there. He's an amazing guy. He's one of the best musicians that I know and have worked with over the years. He's a top bloke, so I'm leaving us with Dylan Mitchell's new project. Seems it's called To the Lions is the name of the track, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you all this evening. Hopefully I'll see you on Friday morning. See you later.
Track of the night. It's a new project by Dylan Mitchell, an artist based in Leith. Now, he used to play in various bands including Lyd, LYD and Action Group, but he's gone solo. He calls himself Seams, that's SEEMS if you're looking for it online. And the track To the Lions.
Up to death.